Inflation scam. Imagine this for a moment. You're sitting high up in the nosebleed section of a massive stadium, watching the biggest game of the year. The crowd is roaring, the lights are blinding, and suddenly the announcer's voice booms through the speakers. They're about to drop $10 million in brand new money into the crowd. Your heart starts racing. You look up, hands ready, already picturing what a life-changing stack of cash could do for you. Then reality sets in. You notice where the blimp is hovering. It's not above you. It's parked directly over the VIP boxes, the luxury suites filled with billionaires, politicians, hedge fund managers, and corporate executives. And when the money starts falling, they don't have to scramble or wait. They simply open their windows and scoop it up before it even has a chance to drift downward. They're laughing, celebrating, and immediately spending that fresh money at the luxury bars, private merchandise shops, and exclusive concessions, buying real goods at the old prices. They just got richer in real terms. They converted new money into tangible value before anyone else even understood what was happening. Now look back at yourself. You're still standing up in the nosebleeds. By the time a few wrinkled bills finally float down to your section, the entire environment has changed. The concession stands are sold out. The vendors have realized demand just exploded, and restocking now costs them more. Prices shoot up overnight. That hot dog that used to cost $5 is now $15. The championship hat you wanted is gone. When you finally catch your first $100 bill, it doesn't feel like a win. You didn't get richer. Your money just got diluted. The VIPs bought real goods at a discount, and you paid a hidden tax without ever being told. This isn't a hypothetical. This is the mechanical reality of our modern economy. It explains why your grocery bill feels insane, why housing feels permanently out of reach, and why it seems like the wealthy are playing an entirely different video game. This phenomenon is called the Cantillon Effect, and understanding it is the first step to escaping the nosebleed seats. My name is Bill, and I spend far too much time staring at charts trying to understand why working harder doesn't seem to move the needle anymore. If you feel like you're running faster every year while the finish line keeps moving away, this is the invisible engine behind that frustration. Here's the uncomfortable truth about money that almost no one explains clearly. Money is not neutral. We like to imagine that when new money is created, it spreads evenly through the economy, gently lifting all boats at the same time. That story is comforting, but it's fiction. Hundreds of years ago, an economist named Richard Cantillon noticed something crucial. Money behaves like water. Where it enters the system matters more than how much of it there is. The people closest to the source always benefit first, while everyone downstream pays the price. Back then, the source was the king. Gold entered the economy through royal spending. Banks and merchants connected to power. Those people got rich. Farmers and laborists, who received the money last, saw higher prices before their incomes ever rose. Today, the king is the central bank, and the gold is digital credit. When new money is created, it doesn't arrive in your checking account. It enters at the very top of the pyramid, through large banks and financial institutions. When central banks inject massive amounts of liquidity, they do it by buying assets from big players, bonds, securities, financial instruments. This means banks, corporations, and asset managers get first access to the new money. While prices in the real economy haven't adjusted yet, they are buying tomorrow's assets with today's prices. That timing advantage is everything. Imagine $1 trillion of new credit flooding the system. A large investment firm gains access to it at near zero interest. They immediately deploy that capital into stocks, land, apartment buildings, and single-family homes. They're locking in assets before prices reflect the expanded money supply. By the time that money trickles down to wages, everything those assets touch has already inflated. That gap is not accidental. It's structural. By the time that money finally reaches the broader economy, the damage is already done. Corporations receive cheap capital and use it for stock buybacks instead of higher wages. Asset prices soar while paychecks barely move. Housing becomes unaffordable not because people suddenly got lazy, but because institutional money bought entire neighborhoods. before regular families even had a chance. You are always late to the party, and being late in a monetary system is devastating. This is why inflation never feels temporary for working people. Official numbers might say prices are up a few percent, but your lived experience tells a different story. Rent jumps. Insurance premiums spike. Groceries quietly double. Gas drains your paycheck faster than ever. Meanwhile, your raise barely covers lunch. The Cantillon Effect explains this perfectly. You receive new money last, when it has already lost most of its purchasing power. This also explains why asset owners feel insulated while everyone else feels crushed. If you own stocks, real estate, or businesses, inflation works for you. The price of what you own rises. But if all you own is your labor, inflation eats you alive. Your labor is priced last. Your time is paid in diluted dollars. You're not failing. You're standing downstream from the printer. The psychological impact of this system is brutal. You start questioning yourself. You wonder why saving feels pointless. You do everything right. Budget carefully. Avoid luxuries. Yet the finish line keeps retreating. This creates a sense of learned helplessness. People aren't reckless because they're irresponsible. They're reckless because the system taught them that playing it safe doesn't work. And this is where the trap really closes. As your savings lose value, society pressures you to spend whatever you have left just to feel normal. Status consumption, lifestyle inflation, buy now pay later culture. You're squeezed from both sides. Inflation erodes your money, and culture pushes you to waste what remains. The Cantillon Effect and status signaling combine into a perfect extraction machine. So what do you do with this knowledge? The goal isn't despair. The goal is repositioning. You cannot stop money creation, but you can change where you stand when it happens. Saving alone is no longer enough. Holding cash long-term in an inflationary system is standing at the bottom of a waterfall and hoping not to get soaked. This is why the wealthy focus obsessively on ownership. Ownership of productive assets. Ownership of scarce things. Real estate. Businesses. Broad market equity. These assets float when the money supply expands. They reprice upward. They absorb inflation instead of being destroyed by it. When you own assets, you move closer to the source. Debt, paradoxically, becomes a weapon if used correctly. Fixed-rate debt on appreciating assets allows inflation to work in your favor. You borrow today's strong dollars and repay tomorrow's weaker ones. The system quietly rewards this behavior while punishing savers who cling to cash out of fear. It feels backward, but the math is undeniable. The final piece most people miss is income positioning. If your income is fixed, hourly, or slow to adjust, you will always lose the inflation race. You must either acquire rare, high-demand skills or own something that earns independently of your time. Businesses, equity, scalable income streams. Anything that allows your income to reprice faster than inflation. The Cantillon Effect isn't a conspiracy. It's a mechanism. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can remain in the nosebleed seats, catching diluted dollars after prices explode. Or you can start moving toward the field, toward ownership, toward assets, toward leverage that works for you instead of against you. This isn't about greed. It's about survival in a system that quietly taxes the unaware. You don't beat it by working harder. You beat it by standing in the right place. When the money flows, Bill didn't become rich because he was smarter than everyone else in the room. He became rich because he understood something most people never question. Money is not just numbers, it's behavior, it's habit, it's psychology. While everyone else was busy chasing shortcuts, Bill was watching patterns. He noticed how people said they wanted freedom, but kept buying things that chained them to monthly payments. He saw how people blamed the system, the government, their boss, their parents, anything except their own daily decisions. And that's when it clicked for him. If you can control your behavior, you can control your money. Everything else comes after that. Most people think wealth is about making more. Bill learned early that it's more about keeping, delaying, and directing. He watched friends get salary raises and somehow feel poorer 6 months later. New phone, bigger apartment, better car, same stress, same anxiety, zero progress. Bill didn't mock them, he studied them. He realized lifestyle inflation isn't an accident. It's a trap designed to feel like success. The moment your income goes up, the world whispers, "You deserve more." And if you listen without thinking, you'll work harder just to stay in the same place. Bill chose boredom over ego. While others flexed upgrades, he automated discipline. He paid himself first, not with motivation, but with systems. Money moved automatically to places he couldn't easily touch. Not because he was weak, but because he was honest. He knew willpower fades. Systems don't. Every month. Without emotion, without debate. His future got funded before his present got entertained. That single habit quietly did what hustle culture never could. The scary part? Nothing about Bill's life looked impressive at the start. No viral success. No dramatic overnight win. Just consistency so boring it repelled most people. And that's exactly why it worked. Wealth doesn't announce itself early. It grows silently, in accounts no one sees, through decisions no one applauds. By the time results show up, the work is already done. And when people finally ask, "How did you do it?" they rarely like the answer, because it's simple, uncomfortable, and requires patience.